days, and today I'm literally hopping on here. You know what I'm saying? Before we even get into it, I gotta check. Chat, I'm up, chat. Chat, I'm up, chat. Chat, I'm up, chat. But before I even get into it, guys, hope y'all having a great day. I hope this week has been. I hope you had it. This is what I always used to say. I hope today you had a great day. I hope tomorrow turns out to be even better. And ultimately, I hope this turns out to be one of the best weeks you ever had in your entire life. Like, that's really what I'm about, man. And so, we up, we up, we up. I'm gonna keep this thing going. But chat, I only got a little bit of time today. We got about an hour, so I'm gonna get y'all some storytelling and some motivation. And I might have a little background noise, but that's okay. You know what I'm saying? That is A-OK. Because you can't always have everything perfect. And, to look for everything to be perfect is almost insane. You know what I'm saying? It's almost insane. So, my main thing here is I've been trying to figure out if my YouTube is going live. But it's not a problem because once I figured this thing out, I really figured out that you can repurpose a lot of things. Just like in life. One thing don't work out, you can always repurpose it. And so I used to be caught up in the numbers. I used to be like worried about the numbers. But now I'm just concerned with consistency, chat. I'm just concerned with consistency, chat. And this one thing I'm learning. This one thing I'm learning. You gotta know what you motivated by, chat. You gotta know what drives you, chat. Because life can get tough. Life will get tough. There will be things you don't understand. There will always be distractions. There will always be something that tries to get you off track. But you gotta lock in, you gotta focus, you gotta go forward. A real quick thing that I always thought was ironic, because I always have football references, is that, let me turn my mic over here. My bad, chat. Chat, there's a lot going on, chat, but the show must go on. Cause I have a conference here, an online conference here in like 45 minutes, so I got to get this out to y'all. Look, chat. Understand this. Y'all know I always make football references, right? So it's a drill we used to have called relocate, and as a receiver, relocate is a drill that if you're going for a go route, and you see that the ball is headed, if it look like you're going to be overthrown, like it's going to be out of reach, we had a drill called relocate. We worked on it every day. What you got to do is put your head down, take 3-4 hard steps, and then look back up. The thing about it is, a lot of times you catch up to the ball, but this the thing though. Once you look up, that ball is literally probably going to be in your hands. So it's just like, it's not even a chance to look up. You just got to put your head down, run, and be in the position, and trust your instincts. And that's kind of how it is in life. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot going on in the world, man. We got a lot here going on in the world. I'm not here to talk politics. I'm not here to talk religion. This is not the platform for that. Not that I'm fearful. But if I don't have in-depth knowledge on the subject, Like I don't chase trends, man. I'm not like if I'm fitting into a trend, that's not on purpose. That's just because timing, destiny, that just happen to be what it is. But I don't like try to fit in the trends. Um, but I will say this though. Um, we might react to another episode of that Tyreek, like the YN goes to the 50s, bro. That's funny to me. Like I feel like everybody, you know what I mean. YN, it sound good to say, but really, you know, you're a young king. You know what I mean. But I don't like to get too political. Not even in street politics. You got street politics, and then you got mainstream politics. But yeah, we might react to that. You know, we might react to that. YN goes to the 50s. But I will say this though. If I react to it, I'm gonna give my honest opinion. I think the concept in itself is like a cool concept. I think the concept in itself is like, wow, a young person with today's like vibrato and today's style and culture going back to back in the day and then seeing how it translates. I think that is the absolute genius concept, man. I think it's a genius concept. But I don't know if I reacted to that, if my video got copywritten. So I don't want to be like trying to support and then reacting to it and then it end up getting copywritten being a bad thing. So I don't know. But I will say this. I don't know their budget, but you know, when you got a good thing like that, you got to take your time and develop it. You got to like give it the attention that it needs. That's like a child. You know, those good ideas like that are like children. You got to take your time and you got to develop those things. Because if you rush them, they don't get the effect that they could have had. But better complete than perfect. Better complete than perfect. You know what I mean? So, but Chad, what's been going on, Chad? What's been going on, Chad? I done had a few technical difficulties, but I ain't gonna let it stop me. But let's get to it, man. What do you have on the line? Let me turn my volume up. Is that too loud? What do you have on the line? You know what I mean? There's a lot of times life gets tough. We want to quit. You know, the view we have is absolutely not working. It's not favorable as we see it. And in those moments, we got to literally sit and think about, what do I have on the line? What do I have on the line? Just like a fisherman would, you know, as if he set out to sea. He's so far out there, he already out there. He might as well be a little bit more patient, especially if he feel that pull and that tug like he got something on the line. You know what I mean? And it's like he might as well sit out there and fight the battle that needs to be fought so he don't come back empty-handed. And, you know, that's why I asked the question, what do you have on the line? And then I say, hey, reel it in. Reel it in. Whatever you got on the line, reel it in. Whatever you've been working toward, stay at it. Don't worry about the numbers. Improve your process. Implement things that are beneficial, but don't stop the process because you don't have it perfect. You know what I mean? You know how many times I've just went ahead and made mistakes along the way, and the only thing that set me apart is that I kept going, number one. And part of continuing to go is not letting people talk you out of your original vision. You know, so many groups and so many cliques and stuff out there now. Oh my goodness. Can't be afraid to fail. You can't be afraid to offend. Let me say it like this, right? So I'm both, like, school wise, I've been through that process. The non-school wise, hard knocks, I've experienced that as well. It's been around me. I've experienced it. I'm here to tell you this. When you got an education, people say, "Oh man, he think he's so smart that he got an education." People will tell you, "You don't need school," which you don't. But then when you're in an environment where don't nobody know you educated, a lot of people's like, "Man, I should have went to school," or they excited about graduating. It's like people that's destined to misunderstand you, people that's determined to misunderstand you. That's exactly what all roads are gonna lead to. Them misunderstanding you, because that's God's way. That's universal law of keep it going, keep it pushing. Both you and them. Both of y'all could be right in y'all own way, but when you always bashing heads and you always clashing, everything is an argument. You can't agree on nothing. Take time, keep it pushing. You know what I mean? Because like I said last time, the preparation pulls the purpose. The preparation pulls the purpose. You know what I mean? The preparation pulls the purpose. That's why they say when a student is ready, the teacher appears. Because the preparation is what's pulling the purpose. It's attracting the purpose. People talk about the law of attraction. People talk about manifestation. People talk about all of that. I'm not here to say that today. I'm just here to say this. People who are meant to misunderstand you will always misunderstand you, no matter what the topic or subject is. So don't waste time trying to fit in with the world. You know what I mean? Because I joke, like when I'm playing Tetris, everybody knows the intended purpose for Tetris. You line all the blocks up and then they disappear. And that's why I tell people all the time, one of the things I learned playing Tetris is that when you try too hard and your ultimate aim is to fit in, you eventually disappear. You eventually disappear. And I don't have a problem not being seen. I don't have a problem not being in the spotlight. But I do have a problem abandoning who I am to try to imitate somebody else. And that's why I say keep the purpose at hand, because the question is, what do you have on the line? I say reel it in. I'll go even further to say how many people you gonna feed by getting that catch. You know what I mean? So lock in. And it's okay to have fun now. You know, I have some fun now. I have some fun. But it ain't no fun being broke. That's just me. Like I can be joyous and I can have fun. Like, but the limited options and freedom that I have when as it relates to providing for my loved ones, I don't like that aspect of being broke. You know what I mean? But being broke's a state of mind. So, you know, it's really all about how you approach it. Now, a lot of people say I'm cool with being broke. That's fine. If you cool, you cool. If you're cool, then I'm cool, then we're cool. That's what the song say. But I will say this. Just because I'm not cool on that level, don't judge me. I mean, you can, but I don't care. I'm just saying. Like, it takes the same amount of energy to set a small goal as it does to set a big one. If I'm writing my goals down, it literally takes me the same amount of energy to pick up my pen and write a small goal as it does a large goal. So you gotta ask yourself, what's the difference? In the way I'm thinking, in the way I've been molded, in the way I believe what I think I can do, in the way people affect me and what they said I can do and what they said I can't do, and my mom and them thinking, my dad and them thinking, my relatives and my sisters and grandmas and neighborhood, and oh my goodness, teacher said this, they didn't say this, I was loved, I didn't love. Oh, if I do this, hey man, main thing, don't panic. Don't panic. Live your life. Live your life. What do you got on the line? What do you got on the line? And speaking of the line is what we living for. The line is the most important thing. You got the day you born, you got the day you die, but that line in between is what makes up your life. So what do you have on the line? What are you making your line about? Are you gonna reel it in? Or are you gonna give in? You know. So, main thing, keep the main thing the main thing. But I'm excited for this month. I hope everybody's quarter is ending good. We got October, November, December. The year is not done yet. There's people that didn't make it to October, and there's people that's not going to make it to tomorrow. So I pray and hope I'm one of them, and I pray and hope everybody tuning in and listening to this and watching this, that watch this video. If you're watching it, that means you made it. So congratulations. We still breathing, still achieving, still dodging these demons. But did any of y'all get to watch any of the TwitchCon? I tapped in on a couple things. I think and I'm not tapped into everything going on as far as TwitchCon, but I will say Office Drummer and NPC Miles was a big thing. What's up, chat? How you doing? Welcome. Glad you could tap in. Hope you having a good day. Hope tomorrow goes even better. And ultimately, I hope this week turns out to be the greatest week you ever had in your entire life. And I really mean it from the bottom of my heart. Being sincere. So, chat, what do you have on the line? What do you have on the line? How is life treating you? How are you treating life? And what are you doing with the time that you have? What are you doing with the time that you have? Me, myself, I'm trying to be smarter today than I was yesterday. Life? I'm trying to be better today. And what are you doing with the than I was yesterday? What are you doing with the time that you have? What's up with my my bad, chat. Let me turn that volume down. But yeah, man. So as far as my YouTube is concerned, I've been having some difficulties. But hey, it's all good. Let's see what we can do, man. I think we might have time to review that film, man. But I just don't want to be copywritten. I just do not want to be copywritten, bro. Oh, that's why. It's private. Okay. It's private. Okay, let's put that public. Bet. Say less. But yeah, chat, if you see me, just lock in, just tap in. I see you in the chat. I see you. So just lock in, man. Just lock in. What's up with what we got going on here? Alright, I guess we good though. But yeah, chat, did y'all get to check out the TwitchCon? Is it still going on? Because With me, I see the boy, drummer, office drummer. I see him going hard. You know, he lit. He got motion. And I see NPC Miles. He lit. You know, he lit. He got motion. And it look like they doing good, man. It look like they doing good though. Eska KH, what up though? But yeah, chat. What do you have on the line? What do you have on the line? That's the main thing I'm asking today. What is it that's within your efforts to finish the job? What is within your reach to finish the task at hand? And how are you handling it? How are you handling it? Hopefully you're handling it well, because it's well within your capabilities, you know, to get it done and to finish it. But this one thing I want to talk about. Y'all might not be up on it. Y'all might not. But I spent about an hour and 45 minutes watching Den of Kings, the Kirk Franklin podcast show, where they go in and they eat and they talk about mental health. And I think overall it was a great conversation. Great conversation. Like, great conversation. I think he had age range from 22, 36, 42, 43, and 55. And I don't know how old Ray J is. Probably like 43, 44. I don't know how old Ray J is. But I say that to say he brought a good, like, demographic of different people. And within that demographic, they all had different perspectives. And one thing that I understand is that two people can be saying the same thing, but having two totally different languages to approach it. Now, I'm not going to get into the biblical thing, because I got to do my research. One thing about it, before I speak on something, I have done most of the research that I think I can do. And if I don't, then I'll let you know I haven't done the research on it. But the main thing I'm saying is this. In the Bible, there's a story about in ancient Babylon, the people came together and said, let's build a tower. Let's build a tower so we can be on the level of God. Let's build a tower up to the heavens. And essentially, they would have been successful. But the problem was that God felt like they were doing it in their honor instead of in his honor. And so as a result of that, he changed he scattered their tongues, so to speak. Meaning he made it to where they spoke different languages and they couldn't understand each other. He made it to where they spoke different languages and couldn't understand each other. And so what I'm saying is this. Till this day, just like theoretically, biblically, we are still dealing with the effects of sins of Adam and Eve in the garden. May I just ask the question, could it be that to this day, there are things that people aren't meant to understand about each other because the languages are still feeling the effects of Babylon and the scattering of the tongues? That's just a question. I'm not making a statement. I'm not making an assumption. I'm simply making a question. I say that to raise conversation on the topic because when I looked at those clips and I looked at the whole interview through, a lot of people were saying the same thing from different angles. So the intent and the aim was the same, but the language was different. And so you have to be real keen and have revelation to understand and see what's really going on. And I know it took a lot of maturity. I will say this, it took a lot of maturity for them. It took a lot of patience for each one of them, because each one of them in their right is their own boss. Each one of them in their right, make their own money. Each one of them in their own right, they do their own thing. And so to humble themselves and to sit down and to lock in and to get on one accord on the same page is very, very, very commendable. Very, very commendable. But I say that to say that, going back to what I said earlier, just because someone doesn't understand you, just because you don't understand someone, doesn't mean that two people aren't wise in their ways. So the main thing is we are trying to figure out everybody. This is what I learned. Because I'm real big on wisdom. I'm real big on knowledge. But he who considers himself wise, may he first be made a fool or become a fool, so that then he will learn what it truly is to be wise. I say that to say this. Let me translate it like this. You come in with a full head of steam, thinking you know it all, thinking you know the way. You bump your head. You trip, you fall, you scrape your leg, you scratch your hands. You sprain your ankle. You get a concussion. And you either learn after many different tries what obstacles may appear, or you learn to slow down. But there's no way you'll come about that information without going through it, or somebody before you going through it. And so either the actual events of the trial and the path that you on, the business that you're trying to start, the marriage that you're trying to go through, the relationship that you're trying to go through, the career that you're trying to have, the skill that you're trying to learn, whatever your goal is, you either learn by trial and error, by making those mistakes, by going through those things, by ultimately failing before you know everything. You either go through that yourself, or you take the time to listen to somebody who has gone through those things. And I was always taught that it's two types of people, in which me understanding what I understand now, that's never the case. But it's something to put things into perspective, that we're presented with a choice oftentimes. Either watch somebody make a mistake and choose a different route, or we can make this same mistake ourselves and learn the hard way. And I was given the thought like, oh, that's the obstacle in the road. You can either see that pothole in the road, see somebody run into it and drive around, or you can see somebody run into it and run into it yourself. And I get that. But the only thing about that is, how many people seen somebody fail at business and it's like, all right, well, I'm not going to do a business. You know what I'm saying? It's like, nah. Not handling my business is never an option. But being smart and being wise and being humble about how I go about it, knowing that I don't know everything, being open and being patient to trial and error, and letting life life, but letting my purpose lead. You know what I'm saying? That's the big thing. You know, that's the big thing. That's what's on the line. That's what's on the line. You know, what's on the line is, let me scoot up for y'all. What's on the line is this: the best possible person that you can be, the best possible life that you can live, based on how you view things, what you believe in your heart, and what you can conceive in your mind, and the vision that you have. That's on the line. And it seems like, you know, every day we get up, it seems as if there are obstacles and there are things that'll try to deter us from that. But you got to keep on pushing. You got to keep on moving forward. You got to keep on doing your thing. You know, you can't let people push their assumptions on you. You can't let people push their agendas on you. Because at the end of the day, you know, a lot of people will give you advice and won't be there to see how the advice turned out. And that's okay. You know, but I gotta live with me. I gotta live with me. You know, I gotta live with me. And you gotta live with you. And we all gotta find a way to coexist together in a peaceful way. You know, so, but let me go to the chat right now. Hello. Chat. I be thinking them bots when somebody say something in the chat, and then I say something on live and then they don't say nothing. Chat got a lot of trolls though, but chat wild. But it's okay though. It's all love. It's all love. I don't know how to spell hygiene. But yeah, so yeah, chat. You know, the main thing is, you know, I'm a risk it, man. I'm a risk it, man. Chat, man, I'm trying to, should I stream every day, chat? But if I stream every day, it's only gonna be for like an hour or something, because I got like, it's just me right now. It's just me right now. So my time is on the line. AKA, I'm trying to upgrade my timeline. But, you know, I must do what's required to get to where I'm trying to go. And until I learn a smarter, better way to go about things, I can only be me. I can only be me. You can only be you. And we can only be true to what we are currently understanding, the level we understand it. You know, I know a lot of this sound like philosophy and theory and all of that, but it is what it is. If you got a question, a specific question, don't hesitate to ask. Today been a busy day for me, so I'm just taking this time to relax with y'all. Cause today been a busy day. A busy day. A busy day. But we gonna make it though. We gonna make it though. We gonna make it. We gonna make it. Chat, but if y'all don't know, my normal streams is Thursdays at 8 o'clock. That's my official streams that I set up and I prepare for. And I had a game plan laid out. And I do all the reviews and everything I need to do. That's on Thursdays. You know what I mean? So, just stay tuned. Stay tuned. Stay prayed up. Stay locked in. And hopefully my stuff don't slow down. But I'm going to try to do this review right now. Let's try to do this review. Let's try to do this review. And another thing I learned, don't take stuff too personal, man. Because people just be saying stuff. People just be talking, you know. People just people. Just like life is just like people are just people. They are just people. We're people, but we're just people. We're human beings. You know what I'm saying? We are human beings. Last step is the setup. What you guys tuning into? Like I one of the things that was my goals that I had to go through is to go from consumer to producer. So really I'm used to being like up on what everybody has going on. I'm used to like seeing what they say and, stuff like that. But it's like, ever since I've been so busy producing, it's like, man, I don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? That's why I need to chat. Chat, y'all let me know, man. I'm going to get y'all got my email. Email me. And see what y'all want me to react to or put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. But this funny, man. I don't know if y'all saw this, but Desi Banks got a new skit out where he playing a big dude. It's funny, bro. It's funny. It is funny. Hop up out the bed, turn my swag on. Look in the mirror, say what's up. Yeah, get money. But yeah, Che, you always gonna get a little Bible when you dealing with me. You always gonna get a little Bible. That's just how I roll. But I got my notes prepared. Like I said, I have this. I'm ending the day with a conference, an online masterclass, actually on podcasting. I'm going to take that information and apply it. Because genuinely, man, I believe there's more out there. I'm going to be honest, right hand of God. I believe there's more out there for me. I believe that God has an incredible life for me. I believe that everything that I've been going through has just been to test my character and to test my heart posture and to make sure that I'm going to never forget where I come from, never lose my foundation of my beliefs, and ultimately, Be a player for the good side, not that other side. For the light side, not that other side. You know, none of us are perfect, but you know, we want to. None of us are perfect, but we all have a choice to make that one day, and everybody has this one day. Everybody has this one day. And some of us, unfortunately, it comes too late. But everybody has this one day where they look up and they say, based on all the points I've been scoring and the efforts that I've been making, am I on the good side or am I on the bad side? And it absolutely is a spiritual war going on. And that's not to get too deep, but I had that epiphany. I had to wake up and say, you know, I can't assume that how I'm moving is always going toward the good side. I got to check myself. I got to check my habits. I got to check my attitude. I got to check my ambition. I got to check my motives. I got to check my friends. I got to check my surroundings. I got to check my environment. I got to check everything to make sure that I align as many things as possible toward the good side. You know, as many things as possible toward the good side. And I don't think some people understand how critical that is, that we gain awareness of, you know, are we turning the lights out on people? You know, when we walk in, does it stay dark? Or are we helping people to turn their light on? And when we come in the darkness, does it light up? That makes sense what I'm saying to y'all? Because it's a lot more on the line than what we may think. Or should I say there's a lot more on the line than what they like to tell us. And when I say they, I'm talking about, you know, these things we enjoy, these luxuries enjoy, these platforms and these trends and these topics and these, you know, this thing we call culture, this thing we call the world. You know, there's a lot more to it than what people explain. That's why you got to pray for discernment. That's why you got to pray for understanding. You know, if you don't believe in God, that's cool. That's you. That's, you know what I mean? But I do. And sometimes it's easier to do it, and sometimes it's not so easy to do it. Sometimes I'm happy that I'm doing it, and sometimes I'm like, man, if I could just, you know, sometimes to be honest, just quite frankly, just being honest, sometimes I'm like, man, if I could just put this religion down real quick, and I could just put my belief down real quick, I can go get some money now. I can go make some things happen. It might not be in the best facet. It might not be the truth. But I know how people think. And I can wiggle some things around and get to this bag. But see, they call that deception. They call that manipulation. That's a lack of integrity. And that's greed. And I don't stand on that. And I don't stand on that. You know. So it might have taken me a little bit longer to get where I'm trying to go. That's because I've been trying to stand on kingdom business. And I have fallen short many times. Many times I've fallen short. But I keep getting back up. I keep going. And each time I get up, I realize, you know, that each time I get up, I realize that, how can I put this? Each time I get up, I realize that I need to be able to see the fall a little bit quicker. I need to be able to see that I'm heading down the wrong direction a little bit quicker. I need to become wiser each time until eventually you learn, like the Bible say, put on the full armor of God. Put on the full armor of God. Stay locked in. Stay locked in. Now, one of the things that's difficult is, there are a lot of people that I admire, but I never had conversations with them about their beliefs. And then I personally don't know them. They've just been people who inspired me to think broader. People inspired me to be more about my business, to respect my time more. I've been a fly on the wall in a lot of people's conversations based on their content. And that's one of the things that I understand. To whom much is given, much is expected. But I would even go further to say, to whom much is given, much is tested and expected. And so who am I to sit here and continue to just consume, and not produce? Because I've lived my own life. I've had people that I've led. I have people that I've inspired. I put some pretty decent efforts into, like I said, keeping that light on, turning that light on, bringing that light to the darkness. And so it's just time. It's just time. That's what's on the line. What's on the line is becoming that someone who can be a light to others after others have been a light to you. It's kind of like playing chess or checkers. I don't know how to play chess like that. But when you play checkers, right, what's one of the things everybody try to do? They try to crown that checker so they all can move freely. And you have more power when you do that. You know what I'm saying? So why would you, if somebody have made the moves and put you in position to crown you so that you can move more freely, why would you not do the same thing for the next person? I understand why, because sometimes people don't trust what others will do with the power. They don't trust what others will do with the power, But God is the one who raises people up and sits people down. So that ain't on you. You did your job. You did your job. But I will say this, though. The other thing is this. One of the reasons that people are so hesitant to step up and step out and to have an opinion and to engage conflict in an intellectual, mature way, in a humble way, is because the ridicule and the backlash is so crazy. None of us gonna get it right all the time. But for most people, I don't think most people can handle being wrong on a big stage. Everybody want to be Steve Harvey. Everybody want to be Steve Harvey, but don't nobody want to be the one to call the wrong name at the Miss America pageant. You feel me? Everybody want to do big things, but they don't want to have big losses. They don't want to take big setbacks. They don't want to take big embarrassments. And I've been there, done that. You don't get one without the other. And I believe that's why a lot of people, that's what filters a lot of people from stepping up to the plate, is because every major leaguer that done stepped up to the plate done struck out before. And so who am I to say I'm cool because I sit back on the side of the stage making no mistakes because I'm not trying? To me, that's the dilemma that we have. That's the dilemma that we have. Some people say, You know, it's how do they say it? It's like you stuck in between a rock and a hard place. Either decision you make is gonna be losses. You gonna have to face something. And you know, but that's not. Don't let that deter you. Don't let that deter you. There are people's destiny attached to you following your dreams. There's people who can be freed from things that you struggle with and found a way to get through them. But you got to keep going, man. You got to keep doing you. You got to find a way. You don't have to, but we need you to. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to, but we need you to. Somebody needs you to. That's why God put you on this earth. That's why you have life. You know? So, what's on the line here is you taking a chance. Me taking a chance. Us taking a chance. Nobody is perfect, but some people actually get the benefit of the struggle. You know, and that's why I tell people all the time, you can't have my pain for free, because it costs me. You can't have my pain for free because it costs me. And that brings me to my next point, is that yeah, I'm working on these courses for y'all, man. Let me just say this platform. It sound like courses, but I'm saying community. I'm working on this community. So I'm gonna still take my time with all my platforms, but one of them is gonna be what's meant to be, and it's gonna take off. Cause that's how things work. They start slow, and then they take off exponentially. They start slow, then they take off exponentially. And so that's the main thing. We not tripping on the weight. We not tripping on the trends. But, you know, we got to be smart. Got to be smart. Got to be compliant. Got to be patient. You know. But if it was easy, everybody would do it. You know. Consistency over comfort. If it was easy, everybody would do it. If it was easy, everybody would do it. Shout out to the chat, though, man. Shout out to the chat, though. If y'all didn't know, what's up, though? What up, though? What's going on? First time here, welcome. If you didn't know, you know, we storytelling. You know, we have fun. We do reviews, but you gonna get this game. You gonna get this motivation, and you gonna get this spirituality. Not like far-fetched, but you gonna get this game if you ain't know. So if you cool with that, I'm cool with that. I mean, all of us are always working toward discipline. All of us are always working. You know, none of us are disciplined in every single area of our life. Because if we were disciplined in every single area of our life, then we would be, you know, we would have less stress and less anxiety. You know what I mean? But I would say this. Discipline is just understanding that, and I said this on TikTok, discipline is understanding that you're going to have nerves, you're going to have doubts, you're going to have fears. We all have those. But the way you work through those is by action. And once you act, then those actions will break through those nerves. And some people, the first time that they act, they're going to realize, oh, I can keep this up. They're going to be able to track what thoughts stop them from being disciplined. And other people going to fail and have to get back up, fail, have to get back up, fail, have to get back up, fail, have to get back up. So, you know, discipline is something that is a process. It takes time, and it only happens after the excitement goes. Discipline only kicks in after you don't feel like it no more. Discipline only kicks in when the hype is not there, when nobody's around. It's like if discipline was Michael Jordan, it wouldn't be him at the game with all the players there. It would be him in the alley at nighttime dribbling the ball, walking to the store. You know what I mean? So, but nah, we are working toward it, you know? We are working toward it. And a wise man knows that if he knows anything, he knows nothing at all. You know what I mean? That's why I always say I come to the evolving conclusion. Because I'm always evolving. So, yeah, man. That's a good question, though. It's a good question, though. We all could use some more discipline in different areas. You know. But, yeah, though, so, you know, what's on the line? That's a good question. Let me see what area of my life is the most disciplined that I would say. What area of my life is the most disciplined? I would say my aim in life. My aim. You know what I'm saying? Because if you set a goal, what do you mean about that question? Which question is that? But I'm saying, what area? I was asking what area of my life do I feel that I'm most disciplined in, and I would say my aim as far as where I'm trying to go. And that's what makes the discipline kick in. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What area? Because you know you got hitting the gym. Some people hit the gym all the time, you know, but don't eat right. Some people eat right, but don't hit the gym. Some people don't know how to say no. That's the type of discipline. You know, people being a yes man and overextending themselves and don't know how to say no. That's discipline. You know, some people spiritually like to try to meditate every day, like try to read the Bible every day. That's discipline. You know, some people try to set limits as far as, like I said earlier, I had to go from consumer to producer. From taking in the content and taking in the books and taking in the messages and all that to becoming my own producer of those things. And so when I say where in life am I most disciplined, I think that's the question everybody should ask themselves. Where in life am I most disciplined? And then where in life am I least disciplined? Y'all definitely gotta go check out my I just did a podcast on ownership because I just left the TDJ's conference. Where in life am I most disciplined? I always want to take it. That's good, man. That's good. Proud of you. That's self-awareness. That's good. Somebody once asked the question, how do you eat an elephant? And the answer is one bite at a time. One bite at a time. And chat, man, don't think just because I am on here on this side of the mic, don't think that make me perfect. Only thing that make me is a person that's trying. Like I said, I'm willing to put myself on the stage. Not the stage. I'm willing to put myself at the vanguard, as my father would say. I'm willing to just put myself out there and see what happens, you know. So I could learn from the chat, cause you never know what somebody's reach is. You never know who you listen to. You never know who you talking to. You know what I mean? Okay. I'm gonna have to look that up. I never even heard that word. I'm definitely gonna have to look that up. Matter of fact, I'm about to Google it right now. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's what's up. Now that's what's up. Facts. Let me pin that. Yeah, that's facts. 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 Guys, for those who tapped in and watching, chat talked about mega cognitive, you know, as a study strategy, and it refers to thinking about one's own thinking process. That's called self-awareness, which includes planning how to approach a task, monitoring progress, and evaluating the outcome. It is the ability to be aware of and control one's own learning, and includes understanding your strengths and weaknesses as a learner and adapting your strategies to improve. This is self-regulated learning, is crucial for academic success, and can be taught and developed through practice. And this is the University of Texas at Austin, MIT, and the University of Waterloo that did that study. So, yeah, no doubt. Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, nah, one thing about it is there are differences, and I don't want to get too deep into it, but there are differences in the thoughts that flow through our head. You know, you have the brain, and then you have the mind. You know what I mean? You have thoughts, and then you have actual thinking. And so it's levels to it, because if everything we thought was our actual mind and our actual intent and our actual subconscious and consciousness, then what is advertising? How do we explain not wanting that burger, or not wanting that pair of shoes, or not wanting that necklace, or not wanting that car, and then we see an advertisement, and then all of a sudden we want it? See what I'm saying? And so there's power in processing how we process. There's power in self-awareness of how we think. So yeah, I would say that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Good deal. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. But listen, chat, I hate to do it, but I have a I have a master class to attend, and I want to prepare some notes. And it kind of, no, let me exit that out, because it kind of looked like the chat is it's like I'm lagging a little bit. But I have this thing to attend, and so y'all, if y'all really want to get deeper into like my more educational side, my more thinking side, absolutely, and the greatest word is why. Absolutely. Nietzsche says, he who knows why can endure anyhow in life. You know, that's what Nietzsche said. So what I was saying is, look, Chad, we can always talk. You know what I mean? We can always talk. But if y'all want like my thought out thoughts, my put together presentations, go ahead and go to like Table Topic Podcast. Topic Table Podcast, my bad. Topic Table Podcast. I did a podcast today about ownership. Very good. It's coming off of my As a Man Thinking attending, when I just attended that. Yeah. So yeah. Lock in, chat. I'm up, chat, but I'm out, man. And y'all be cool. Y'all be safe. God bless. Peace. Chat. I'm out.